hello and welcome. I have the video for this week. So we have a très interesting book this week. Something that I have been meaning to get to. Another one of our German books. But before we start, remember, if you would like to support us, you can support us. There is a shop where we have books and writing services. There is also a Redbubble shop where we have over 100 designs. So if you would like to support us, you can support us in either of those places. Also, remember, if you do not want to spend any money, that is absolutely fine. What you can do is like, subscribe, comment, and share. Join in a conversation about the books if you have read them, if you have not read them, if you fancy reading them. So that is what you can do. So what is our book? Our book is The Artificial Silk Girl by, and this one is Irmgard, and I believe it is pronounced Keun. This is a German book. It is from 1932. And I saw this and I thought, oh, that is very interesting looking. Because I had not seen any women German writers of this period. So, of course, I went and thought, okay, I will buy that. And I bought another one, and I've just ordered some more, because she is très interesting, très jolie, funny. She is a satirical writer. So, The Artificial Silk Girl is from 1932. Irmgard Keun was forced to flee Germany when the Nazis came to power, and one of the first things that they did before she had to flee, she didn't flee immediately, but she was a target of their ire, and they did ban her books, which she attempted to sue the Gestapo for. So this lady had some chutzpah. So she had written this and her first novel. Before the Nazis came to power, and then there are other novels, but she did actually stop writing by the 50s, or. She did. There are very few of her novels. So, this novel, to start with, this novel tells the story of Doris, who is a 18-year-old from Cologne. She lives in her city. This only takes place over a summer, an autumn, a winter. So it is a very small period. A very small period. And Doris has a lecherous boss, a boring job, and she goes on dates a lot. She also lives with her parents and has to give a lot of her pay to her parents. Her father in particular drinks most of the money because he is unemployed. And what does he do? Because he is unemployed, he drinks and gambles and is decidedly unpleasant. So, and her mother works in a theatre. So, Doris is absolutely sick of her stifling provincial life. She loses her job when she has made too many mistakes. And then when she is alone with her boss and her boss makes passes at her, she rejects him. She actually slaps his face. And then that is it. She is out. She has a habit, or she has adventures with men. So we learn from her at the beginning of the book that she goes on dates with men and sleeps with them for gifts. She's got a coat out of this, she got a little gold watch, various different things. So she's been doing this since she was 16. Now, before Americans go and have a complete freak out about that, I believe that's where the age of consent is. It is different in a great many countries. In Australia, it is 16. So although it looks fairly outrageous, it is actually technically is the age of consent in a lot of countries. So just be aware. She does do this, and she sees men as things for either money or for love. So she has been using them for money for quite some time. Having lost her job, she then gets her mother pulls strings and gets her a job as an extra in the theatre, where she manages to completely overconfidence and yes, she manages to mess that one up, and she steals a fur coat, which she will not give back, and has decided that therefore she will flee to Berlin and live underground in Berlin with a friend from work, and nobody knows, well, her friend knows where she is, but she is on the run over this stolen fur coat. So she goes to Berlin, and she is like, I'm going to be a movie star, like every other runaway. She's gonna be a movie star in Ufa. But she decides she's going to be a movie star. And she does not have papers, so she cannot get a job. So she does what she had been doing, which is using men to buy her things. She is trying to more or less set herself up as a kept woman. So, flirt with men in exchange for meals, that sort of thing. Sort of holly-go-lightly. The $50 for the bathroom attendant, that sort of thing. In Berlin, she has various adventures. She lives at one point beneath a pimp who she will not call him that. She has an absolute horror of descending to the point of actual prostitution. Parce que why? Actual prostitution involves a pimp, and with the fate of one of the girls that this pimp runs, that actual prostitution is very despairing, awful, not the glamorous life of going dancing and drinking and things that she is wanting. So she does live very much on the edge of it being prostitution, and where it is just, they give me gifts. So she living on this edge. There are various other things. I won't spoil the entire story for you because it is very funny. So why on earth did the Nazis ban this? That was one of the things that I thought of when I started reading it, was I want to see why the Nazis ban this. And it becomes very obvious very quickly why the Nazis would ban this. The entire book is written in a sort of a diary form, but she does not call this a diary because a diary is old-fashioned, and she is a thoroughly modern lady. She's a thoroughly modern 18-year-old. And she knows exactly what she's doing. She is writing this narrative as it is happening. So it is a diary of sorts, so she would be aghast if you call it a diary. Her voice is very light and remarkably modern. It is not a voice that you are used to from a book from the 20s or 30s. It is not coy. We are never left in any kind of confusion as to exactly the transaction with the men, which, you know, it's a little bit more veiled in something like Breakfast at Tiffany's. It is generally a lot more veiled. The only other woman I can think of who wrote so frankly about sex is Anis Nin. We should do some more Anis Nin. She is the only woman I have seen who write of this period who writes so frankly about sex, and really similar sort of level of controversy. So she writes very openly about sex. She is incredibly materialistic. She is incredibly materialistic. Towards the end of the book, when she has met a man who allows her to stay without the pressure of a sexual exchange. He is sorry for her, and his wife has left, and he would like very much to have somebody in the flat to come home to. He is just incredibly lonely, and he's picked up this 18-year-old runaway and has brought her home and feeds her, and she in turn cooks and cleans. He suggests, you know, we straighten out your affairs, we return the court, we get your papers sent to you, you know, get you new papers so you can work. And the idea of work, she is horrified. She is like, no, I will stay here and cook and clean for you, but work, no. So she's quite a ridiculous character. It is. You can see this very modern voice, this very juvenile voice. This person who is very caught up with the images of wealth and luxury that you see through the magazines and through the cinema and various other different things that are around. The what do you lack? You lack money. She is very aware that she lacks education. She is very aware that she is attempting to rise above her class in a way, and that she has absolutely no secure footing in that class, but that the class that she wishes to move into is one of luxury and repose, of not work. And we see work. We see so much work. We see so many women who have to go out, who have to work, who have to support unemployed or disabled husbands. We see so much of women forced to take degrading drudgery jobs just to support themselves. And so her assertions that I do not want to work seem incredibly juvenile and silly. And so you have this wonderfully comic portrait, and it is satirical. And it is promoting a contemporary, 1930s contemporary, so in all honesty, she could be Carrie Bradshaw from Sex and the City. She really could. It has that sort of in the big city and having adventures, and those ventures being sexual as well as anything else. So the Nazis looked at this and said, oh my God, that is not what we want of the German womanhood. German womanhood is comfortable having like 16 children and living with her husband and does not upset the social order and dresses modestly and is a virgin till marriage, and all of this stuff is a trad wife. basically the sort of stuff that you see that is just the same sort of far-right propaganda about that women are fed. And this book disrupts that so thoroughly. It's like, oh no, it is very fun to go out and have money for yourself and pick up men that you like and have people buy you things. And to have an independent life. And it is that energy that saw these books. No, because these are only recently translated into English, but in Germany, these books got picked up in the 1970s as showing this is a very modern world, the very liberated world of this Weimar girl resonated with what young women wanted from the 70s with the second wave of feminism. So she is a writer who has continued to echo down. So she got banned by the Nazis. She eventually had to flee the Nazis, and eventually snuck back into Germany and lived in Cologne from 1940 under an assumed name, which is interesting. So the end of her life was quite sad. She battled alcoholism, which no doubt the effect of the war and the upheaval of becoming a refugee in Europe would no doubt that level of trauma probably accounts for such things. So she did bring up her child alone. So she was not. She was a modern woman as much as her characters. Probably not as much as her characters. So, why is this the artificial silk girl? Well, in the book, Doris talks about artificial silk. So you do not want to wear artificial silk when you are with a man, because artificial silk is fragile, it tears, it crumples, and they mess it all up. She is artificial silk. She is masquerading as the fine, wealthy lady, but it is all facade. She is incredibly precarious. She is the crumpleable artificial silk who is thrown away. None of the men that she captures are particularly, they have more incomes than her. We see how precarious the economic situation is. There is one man who puts her up in his apartment until his wife comes back in, and he puts her up in his apartment and buy her lots of things and pays back her debt to her friend. Her friend gave her life savings of 90 marks to be able to move to Berlin. So she is able to pay back her friend. She is able to buy presents for her mother and her friend, who she sends these things via her friend. She is generous with other people's money until his wife come home and she discover that you have to flee, leaving a lot of the things that she has been given. Also that the gentleman has been arrested. Why? Because he was not as rich as he was making out and has been stealing funds from his business. He's been embezzling funds from the business to supply this lavish lifestyle. So she is not really. She is such a fraud. She is not an actress. She is a fraud. She is artificial silk. She is also disposable. These men have no compunction about picking her up and depositing her down. They don't think about what will happen to her. How will she go? She is not a girl who is at the pinnacle of her position. The like the Parisian courtesan. The Parisian courtesan of the 19th century, these women who became immensely wealthy off the backs of their lovers. But their lovers were dukes and princes and very wealthy men. So she is right down the bottom. She is where the middle class men pick up something on the side. Their incomes are not exactly equal to having something on the side. So there is a precarity in her level that these are men who are not going to pick up a prostitute, but they want that bit on the side. She is not, and she is very adamant about not being a prostitute. She does not want to be one of the women who actively sell, because that will ruin her fantasy. So she is perhaps in some way even more fragile. She has already lost her reputation, which, as the politics are changing, and we see politics changing around her, we see economics changing around her, but we only see those things peripherally, because she is not interested in these things. She is very focused on her own. Also, we see these things changing, and this book does not yet know exactly when the Nazis come to power. So we are seeing what is it just before this happens, and the economic degradation of people, and also the instability of the politics. Also, politics is very lightly touched on. You see, this is a society that is very much hysterical. People are living on the edge parce que there is no money for a lot of people. There is money enough for many people, but there is not the money for the kind of gaining advancement. Things are sort of stagnant. Things are in a situation where it is like we do not know where this is going, but we do not like where this is. It is stagnant. People are losing money rather than making money. So the whole system is not working properly. So even people like the industrialists who should be making money are losing money and stealing money to maintain their status. And part of their status is a kept woman. Part of the status of men of this social class is having a kept woman. And she is, in attempting to become a kept woman, she is finding herself in an even more precarious place because the finances of the men that she targets are not there. You'll never see her attempting to break into the movie business. She is hoping maybe one of the men might be, a producer or a director or something. She does sort of try to hang out in those places, but she is so naive. She does not understand how incredibly cutthroat the movie industry is, even though she has been in the theatre and has seen in a provincial theatre exactly how cutthroat actors and extras and people are to get their hands on one line of dialogue in the play. These sorts of things. She does not understand this because she is not hungry to be an actress. She is hungry to have an actress's life. And oh my goodness, is that not so resonant today? How many people are out there? I want to be famous. Doing what? No, famous. Yes, but you have to do something to be famous. No, I just want to be famous. I want to be TikTok famous. I want to be Instagram famous. I want to be YouTube famous. And you have to do something. No, you don't. You just get famous and then you get money. She's that mentality. It's like, this is so naive. She's so naive. So we never see her actively trying to do the very things that she said she went to Berlin to do. In in this way, she is very like an actual German Sally Bowles, but more tragic, more fragile than Sally Bowles. Sally Bowles being the daughter of a wealthy English industrialist and can jump on the train and return to England if it ever gets hairy. She, on the other hand, Doris, on the other hand, is a runaway in Berlin who is incredibly naive and incredibly fragile. Pasky, why she is an artificial silk dress. So, in spite of all the serious elements of this is a very funny book. It is a satire, and I think that part of what makes it satirical is the sheer number of men that Doris has slept with. She has slept with a lot of men. The sheer numbers of men, but also I think the age of Doris. She is very young. I think the use of her is very deliberate. Everything is extreme. You could age her up and make her 24 and trying to do this, and it would work just the same. But she is so young because it works better. If you're 24, you're probably going to be a bit more canny about things. You might actually start to say to yourself, you know what, Doris, this is not working. Maybe we need to go and get our life together. But an 18-year-old is going to be stupid about this. And that's what makes it a satire. You can really point at the commercialization of things, the materialism of people, the naivety of people who are thinking that if they become famous, if they go and do the things that the people in the magazines do, then their lives will be happy and easy. And of course, this is not a possibility. You don't get famous for being famous. You actually have to do something. You have to do something. I mean, and people who are famous for being famous are generally they are people with trust funds. They are socialites. Socialites are famous for being famous. They are people with money. They don't have to do anything. They don't have to earn that. They just be seen and look nice. And she is mistaking this. She is not understanding what underpins these glamorous worlds, this world where you would have a real silk dress. What you actually have to do. Because you either need to be born into money or you need to marry money. Or if you are particularly talented, perhaps you earn the money. But what we see very much is that for women, these avenues to earn the money are narrower. We see women in really drudgy type roles that are very traditionally feminine: cleaners, cooks, babysitters, people who take in laundry, all of these sorts of jobs, secretaries, not the kinds of jobs that get you fame and fortune, which is why the silver screen is the dream factory. The idea that you get a job in cinema and you will be a big star. And so she is satirizing the materialism of the late Weimar Republic. She is satirizing the clinging to status as everything is slipping away. She is satirizing the naivety of youth that are not understanding how hard you have to work to get certain things. And that they don't understand that actually, yes, the whole system is rigged against you. That the whole system is designed to keep you where you are, artificial silk dress girl. You are never going to, you cannot turn yourself into a silk dress. You are always going to be a fraud. And once you are torn and unusable anymore and dirty and crumpled, you will be thrown away. So that is not to say that she is not saying that you turn your back on the modern world and go and live this traditional life. But after all her adventures, Doris discovers that there are things that are far more important than just material things, and obtaining the sorts of things that are put up in advertising and all of that to bewilder the people and take some money out of their pockets. The last lines of the book, where Doris decides what her future is going to be. Now, before I read this, Hula is the name of the prostitute who was beaten by her pimp and actually jumped out a window out of fear of him. And this is what Doris says, her last lines in the book. But I could just as well turn into a hula. So if she continues the way she does. And if I become a star, I might actually be a worse person than a hula who was good. Perhaps glamour isn't all that important after all. So she is not turning her back on the modern world. She is turning her back on what the artificial silk dress represents, the material things over a quality of life. So it is a book about a very young person discovering, well, what do you do if your head has been turned by all the glitz and glamour of the world and you can't afford any of it? Well, she tries it all out in Berlin. And soon discovers that it is terribly, terribly frail, and it will probably destroy you, warp you, make you bad. Because even the poor abused prostitute, Hula, was a good person. For all the ills that happened to her, she was a good person. And Doris thinks that perhaps being a good person is the most important part, because she does over the course of the story, she meets good people. She meets people who are not attached to the material, and she sees how hard she has to work to obtain even some smallest scrap of material glamour. And that the best people that she meets in the novel are not attached to that. Some of them have comfortable lives, some of them have less materially comfortable lives, but they are not constantly grasping after something or trying to hold on to something that is just for status and just for show. They have a center that is good and that they live from. And so it is a lovely, funny little book. I will definitely be bringing more of this writer. I think that she is a very important female voice coming out of the Weimar Republic, which is quite a rare thing. Most of our books that I have found have been by men. So to have a book by a woman about women is terribly interesting and terribly fun to be able to bring, especially after Janice's book last week, which we did not enjoy. So that is The Artificial Silk Girl. I will be back again with another book, and until then, au revoir.
If you would like to support this channel, come across to the Black Cockie Press website, www.blackcockiepress.com.au, where you will find books and other writing services to help with your writing.